back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I tell you what, this COVID thing's been crazy because I haven't been in a room with a lot of my friends and sponsors and people that have been involved in WNST. I've managed to not fist bump even Evan Brown over at State Fair. I stay 6 feet away. I haven't been able to elbow bump anybody. But we're all trying to avoid each other, and I've been remiss. I have not had Bruce Posner on my program. He's here each and every Monday morning. You can wake up with him, and certainly when he and I got together, it was for Terp Talk, and let's see, the Terps were going to go to the Final Four, and they were going to win a championship, and then the Turtles were going to play lacrosse, and the men's were going to go win a national championship 5-6 weeks ago, and so were the women, right? And COVID happens, and Bruce Posner's been here each and every Monday, along with Peter DeLutis, and bringing great guests on and doing it along with all of his friends via satellite. And Bruce, first off, how you doing, man? Safe, sound, washing hands, wearing masks, doing all that good stuff, right?
You know, it's funny. I ended one of my shows this week with just a plea for everybody to wear a mask. They're not doing it, but it's pretty good in Maryland, okay? Because when you wear it, if you wear a mask and I wear a mask and we each have glasses on, Nestor, it just can't transmit. And if everybody would do that, you know, and I think that a lot of people are doing it, and our great governor's done a tremendous job, and you see why all the numbers are dropping in Maryland, and, you know, unfortunately the rest of the country is not, and that could filtrate into Maryland, you know, through travel and stuff like that, but I'm being as safe as I can. The only activity I'm doing is testing all the golf courses around town, and pretty comfortable there with the way it's handled, and the golf courses are just packed. But people are smart enough to stay apart. There's a lot more gimmies, Nestor. All right? There's a lot of gimmies, all right? So the scores might be a little bit better, but we're blessed with such great golf courses in this city and state. And outside of that, I haven't been in a restaurant. I haven't been in a store. I haven't, you know, I just haven't done anything except do my shows. And, you know, when you're doing your shows in these conditions, there's a lot more preparation.
Well, and there's no game last night. There's no game tomorrow night, right? So that's just where we are. And
but there are things happening, and there's golf. And, you know, I don't know if you listened to the show on Monday morning, but it's worked out perfect for me because every week I have BCC's head golf teaching pro, Pat Coyner, on, and we review the tournament from the previous weekend. The timing's perfect, and it's been great. So, you know, you cover what's being played more than anything else, and I've been covering some golf and certainly talking a lot of Terps, talking a lot of, you know, Ravens and, you know, the Antonio Brown scenarios and, you know, Cam Newton coming back to the Patriots. So there's stuff to talk about. There's no doubt. And now we're getting to the point of crunch time because on July 23rd, baseball's going to start. July 29th, NBA should start. And that's if we can keep these numbers down to a minimum. And it's problematic. It really is. So you know it as well as I do. There's no hiding from the truth.
Well, I you know, we have been home for 100 days as well. My wife and I did 2 days on the beach earlier in the month down in Dewey Beach and felt very safe, very distanced, and it was all good. Came home and then decided to get down to North Carolina. And, boy, the 5 days in North Carolina, I mean, would I do it again? Yes, I would do it differently. And no one was wearing a mask, Bruce. I mean, I was like, have you people not been paying attention to what's going on in the world, not just in New York or Chicago or just in cities? It's a global pandemic, and for people to not take it seriously. And listen, baseball and football, and I've been talking about this all week because I've gone more back to talking to sports this week. I mean, I had John Sherrills on this week. I talked to Ken Singleton this week. I've talked to Steve Rushin and other people around baseball, Pedro Gomez from ESPN, about baseball starting. It's 4th of July, right? I mean, it feels like 4th of July feels like baseball to me, and where we are, and I don't know how they think they're going to play 60 games without being sequestered. The NFL, I mean, I'm playing along and saying they're going to try. I hold out very little thought that there's going to be a Super Bowl in Tampa that we can be involved in February. I just think that they're playing with science, and so far science is winning. I think by and large, what Fauci said 4.5 months ago, and he's the smartest guy on earth, no matter what anybody says, he said the virus will do what the virus tells us to do. And it looks to me like the 4th of July, he's right. That's what it feels like to me. So the virus will tell the NFL if they're going to play or not.
You got it right on the nose. That's a good way to put it. But look, let's be realistic. I do believe there will be baseball. Baseball can be sequestered somewhat. Baseball, no fans. You're going to have players sitting in the stands. The contact, face-to-face contact is very, very minimal. And I think baseball and golf, there are some sports that certainly, look, the Premier League is rolling along. Look, what's the biggest sports league in the world? It's not the NFL. It's the Premier League. And the Premier League is going along, a COVID case here, a COVID case there. But if you're going to come back to sports and you don't think you're going to have COVID problems, you're not being realistic, which is why I like the fact that baseball is a 121-page protocol on what to do. And I think that when you prepare, it's great. Now, the NCAA is another story. I'm very worried about football because there's not a standard performance. Maryland had 115 tests, and they had 0 COVIDs. All right? They're one of the only universities in the country that can make that claim. So that's great for Maryland, but unfortunately it's not all inter-squad games. They have to play other teams, and what's going to happen if another team spikes 20 kids on the team and they all are out? Or would Maryland be afraid to play another team? Do you follow me? Those are
the Clemson scenario is, very obvious,
37,
right?
37.
Bruce Posner's here. He is Terp Talk. He's here every Monday at AM 1570. You can find him. You can find him at Terp Talk on Twitter as well as on the web, doing radio here and other places down the dial. You can always find him. But for you, with your expectations, what's your level? It sounds to me like you don't expect college football to happen, and nor do I, and nor do I think I want my 19-year-old child exposed to that. I'd say, your ass is staying here. You're staying here until that we I'm not having you come back sick. I'm not having you come back get me sick. That's the game I would play as a parent, right? So I feel like college is a little different. The NFL and what they're trying to pull off, and Bruce, I have a flight to Houston for a game in September. I have a flight to Indianapolis, God forbid, and Foxborough in November where Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback instead of Tom Brady. I don't really think I think it's fantasy world. Yes, I have the flight. Yes, it's on my points. I don't feel like I'm going to be eating nachos in Houston the second week of September.
I don't know, and don't even know if you'll be allowed to come. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They haven't decided a lot of that. But here's what I really believe. Nestor, in this situation, and you have to follow the money. And there's no question in my life in my world that they're going to try and play football, unless it gets so bad that there's not even it's a no-brainer. But I think they're going to try. Do I think they'll complete a season? That's very problematic. But I think colleges are going to try because without football, what happens in colleges. You're going to have, if no football, you're going to have no sports, all right? And even though there's no reason they can't play soccer. There's no reason they can't play baseball in my eyes. But in baseball, I believe is going to happen. If I had to put percentages on it, opening day is July 23rd for baseball. I'd go at 75% that it's going to happen, maybe even 85%. If you ask me about the NFL, I still wonder about it. And the NBA, are you going to be able to sequester 300 NBA players and have them in their rooms and in hotels and not go out? I don't know how that's possible.
Smith
had a great piece on it.
Well, Bruce,
no
I keep watching these guys' Instagrams and Lamar Jackson horsing around on a Sea-Doo, like no social distancing at all. And I'm seeing the way I saw this young tennis player, running wild over in Europe, girls dancing on tables.
He just came from a place that was infested with COVID, and he's out there partying. He got blasted, though. He really got blasted.
Well, yeah, deservedly so. But, you think 1,800 NFL players aren't going to be I've compared this to safe sex. Back in the days of my singleness, it's sort of like yes, no. It's an honor system for crying out loud. Like these guys are leaving the facility, and what gas pump they touch, where they get their takeout food, what they choose to do, how safe they choose to be with their mask, the way they wear their mask, whether they're using Purell, all these things that, quite frankly, I learned when my wife had cancer 5 years ago. So for us, it's not all that weird. I mean, it's middle of summer, Bruce. My hands are all chipped up from how much Purell that I was wearing because we did go out and about a little bit more in North Carolina than we haven't left the house in 5 days since we got home, which is probably good. But we're trying to do a little something, but keep it safe. I don't know if I were a 23 or 25-year-old athlete living in Cleveland that I wouldn't be out doing something. I just think the honor system part of where have you been and where have you been, there's way too much of that amongst young guys playing football for me to think that cases are not going to get spiked or to think that they're going to be safe enough and follow the 112-page manual,
I can't answer you. It is a concern, and I know the first time I went out to get gas, all right, because I have a semi-electric car. Finally, I had to get gas. I ran the electric out. I had to go get gas. So my wife and myself went, and we felt like we were on a reconnaissance mission. You know what I mean? So we pull up to the gas station, and Nestor, nobody was wearing gloves. Nobody was wearing a mask. Nobody was wearing glasses. I mean, I had a mask on. I had glasses on. I had a shield on. I had a wool hat on. You know what I mean? And nobody else was even concerned. Now I think that's changed. It really has. And we've also learned some other things. You can open up your Amazon box. You can open up your mail. You can eat food from carryouts. All right? Tell me the first case where COVID was transmitted in food, So there's things you can do. But but when you're in the public and, this thing is transmitted when people scream and spit and sneeze, you're wearing a mask. You got glasses on. Your chances are so good, and people won't do it. And it's almost unbelievable to me. I'm 70. I got to watch everything I do.
Oh,
okay?
we got to keep you safe. No doubt about it.
Right, and I do. But you know what? It's at a certain point, you got to go somewhere. You got to get out. You got to just ride around, And I'm choosing my one risky thing to do is golf, okay? And I don't feel that much risk. If when you go to these courses, you're in that entrance for 1 minute, and then you're on the course. So once you're on the course, you don't see nothing happens because you're not near anybody, especially the way I hit.
Well, you get your own ball, and you lose a couple. Once you lose it, you can't touch it and get sick from it.
And somebody gets within 3 feet, you say that's good enough for me. What the hell's the difference? Nobody will know it's a pro tour, and it's kind of now. Look how golf has handled it. You know why? Golf's a game of honor. Golf's a game of respect because you have to treat the game with honor, respect, and honesty, or else you're not a golf player. And you've had guys self-report themselves that they don't feel well and they don't play. And those are the things that have to happen. Now, what's going to happen, like when Lamar gets COVID? God forbid. You know what I mean? It's going to be
well. I think what happens when the whole Cincinnati Bengals team 14 guys on the bank like in week 4. Well, that's the thing for me that John Harbaugh will say to all these guys, don't touch girls, don't touch people. I mean, telling 25-year-old guys don't touch girls for a year and a half.
It's not going to happen.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just where we are, man. And I think the honor system only goes so far because I've met football players and hockey players and baseball players and I was young and not nearly as rich and as good looking as them. Bruce Posner's here. He is Terp Talk out on Twitter and of course every Monday here at WNST hosting a show on the mornings from 8 till 9. You can find him. It's rebroadcast Monday afternoon. We get a double Terp Talk here and terptalk.com. Last thing for you on the college thing and on where Maryland is. You're such a big Maryland fan, a supporter, not just of sports, but of what they do educationally, academically. Where are you on the academic education? I mean, I've talked to all of these. I've had Sanja Sanalisis on. I've had all the university presidents on. We have the new president incoming of Coppin next week here at WNST as well. I am really worried about education all the way around. I'm worried about an 8-year-old child anywhere being able to learn online. All of that. And then there's the institutional thing of this thing called the University of Maryland that's billions of dollars and supported and families and all over the world and research and all of this. Give me a little big picture from your Terp hat on what you're seeing and what you're feeling. And if you had a daughter or granddaughter right now who's 19 and about to go back for sophomore year, the way my friend Don Muller's trying to send his incoming freshman down to Roanoke this year after all of her hard work.
Well, I'd be a lot happier if I got 8 grandkids, and that's all I think about. You know what I mean? And
how old are they, Bruce? Fill me in.
They range. They're young. They range from 2 newborns who I have not held yet. Can you imagine that?
Oh man!
I've got 2 babies that are 2 months old, and I have not held them.
Oh my goodness!
I've seen them. Okay, I've been within 6 or 7 feet of them, but they haven't been in my arms, and I can't tell you how that feels as a grandfather. And they go up to 8 years old, and I think about them every day. Okay, every day that's what I think about. And I'll just worry how their lives are going to roll. You can't live your whole life in your house. You just can't. It's just not a life. It's okay. We have food. We're lucky. We got people delivering stuff to us and the Instacarts and all that stuff. And we're lucky that we have that. And we have a plethora of food in this country. And we got great people who are still working and putting their lives on the line to do all this stuff. But don't feel sorry for myself. I feel sorry for them. You need friends. You need relationships. You need everything in life. And right now, it's online learning. It's some of the schools are good at, it, and some of the schools are not good at it. And I concern myself about that. But you're asking me a question. If I had a kid who was going to college, and would I let him go? I'll be honest with you, I would. Okay. Now, as long as I was happy with the circumstances at the college, okay, and here's the real reason. There has not been, thank the Lord, there has not been a lot of deaths among young people below 30 years old, okay? There just hasn't. You can look at any statistic you want. And, it's unfortunate that some people have, onesies and twosies, and it's happened. But that can happen anywhere.
Yeah, I've lost some friends. I lost a 47-year-old friend this week, and had several friends lose parents, and I've had several friends hospitalized, and children of friends of mine hospitalized too. So yeah, it's been
I would hope that they recovered.
They did, yes.
Right, and still in regular life, people get sick. It happens, but thank God it hasn't really affected the under 30 crowd, or else it would be a real problem with the way they flaunt the situation, and the virus isn't as effective upon them. So would I? Yes, I would let him go to college, but I certainly would keep a visual eye on it and learn about the protocols and take it from there. But then again, I'm not faced with that decision. My kids are in their 40s and late 30s, so I'm really not faced with that. But I think schools will open, and the young kids will go back to kindergarten or first grade, whatever they're in. And I just don't know, but I know that the kids, they have each other, okay, but they don't have their friends, they don't have their relationships, and it's not easy for them. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like you feel. Like I walk around Baltimore and I walk around the Inner Harbor, my wife and I, and we wear our mask anywhere there are people. When we approach people, we usually have our mask on us if we're walking through the harbor, there's no one around. Anyone near us, we put our mask on because we don't want to be the jerks walking past people without mask at any, across any bridge, across any near. So that's and we walk around the city 3 days a week, and we've been doing that for 100 days. That's been pretty much the extent, other than going to the supermarket, that we've done, right? And Purell and gloves. I feel good about the way we're doing things here and the way businesses, your sponsors mainly have stayed in business, my sponsors mainly have stayed in business, and we're transacting through this period of time as best we can, in the best way we can. But then I went down to North Carolina and I thought, wow, everyone here, everyone is endangering me and my wife. And I keep going back to the safe sex thing and saying, you've been handling this like this every day, everywhere you've been. This isn't the first time you've walked in here without a mask, And I'm thinking, wow, you are living dangerously, really, really dangerously.
I can't believe it. My brother lives in Florida.
And I can't be around you if you're living dangerously. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about it.
Well, my brother lives in Florida. He calls me up and, he's playing golf and that's about it. But then he says, everybody's going to the beach today. Do you think I should go? I said, don't go to the beach. You know what I mean? Go to the beach. Nobody's wearing masks. Okay, now I don't know.
Now we were on a beach in North Carolina. We didn't have anybody within 100 feet of us. You know what I mean? Like we didn't go to Ocean City on the boardwalk. We went in the middle of nowhere and made sure we were in the middle of nowhere, which is the reason we went there, quite frankly, because we would not go to Ocean City right now. We would not go to Hershey Park right now. We just if the Orioles were playing games and they begged me to come back and gave me a press pass and gave me a free hot dog, Bruce, I wouldn't go. It's just I would not get on a plane. I would not get on a train. I feel like Dr. Seuss.
Hey, Nestor, you could go. Listen, the Oriole games you could go to. You sit in the upper deck in right field. There's nobody there.
Put them on Masson, man. But maybe we'll have baseball in a couple. Maybe you and I get together in a couple weeks, and I certainly hope for you and for what we've done. Give everybody a little briefer on Terp Talk, what Terp Talk is, and how and why they can tune in on Mondays right here at AM 1570.
It's great. You were great. I have to tell you, I really appreciate you giving me that kind of time to kick off the week. And there is no better time than 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And I know you thought about it, but then you wanted me on the air. You decided to do it. And
they got enough of me. I think I told you that.
Yeah, that was the close. That was the close. You said you want 8 o'clock, Bruce. You got it. Okay, and that's why I went on. I think it's the greatest time in sports that there is because you're wrapping up a weekend. Everything happens on the weekend. Certainly with the NFL and Science and Kirk, my sponsor, great people. You know them well.
Absolutely.
And I said I can get 8 o'clock in the morning. It took them 1 second to say yes. And so on that Monday morning, it's not just Terp Talk, it's everything, okay? And if I go over 5 or 10 minutes, you guys let me do it, which is great. And then you replay, I couldn't have made a better deal. That doesn't cause for you to raise the price, though.
No, I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate you getting up on Monday mornings and adding another voice to what we're doing here for you and Dennis and all of my partners and the people that come on and are part of what we do here. We're moving toward Baltimore Positive, and I've been doing all sorts of conversations, but it's been nice to be sort of back on doing a little sports, catching up. I have so many friends in sports, right? So you go to the front of the website now, it's John Churros and Ken Singleton, and that was sort of long.
Nobody has more than you, Nestor.
Well, but there was nothing to talk about with the, like right now, even John Harbaugh comes on. Other than talking about COVID, it's been a really tough couple of months, and I've been doing this 30 years every day, Bruce. And having the games taken away, that was something I never. It would be like a meteor hitting Earth. You know what I mean? Like, what could possibly take sports away that they're not playing games? Well, I mean, must be a plague or something, right? Like, we just didn't plan this, and working our way through it and trying to talk our way through it for all of us, communicating. I think it's been, thank God we're online. Can you imagine a plague back in the 40s or 50s, right? You know what I mean? Like, that there could be no communication. You would have to go to the picket fence and only be able to talk to your neighbor. Like, we are blessed to be in this era, to your point, where we can stay safe, and we do have science telling us what we can do to stay alive and keep each other alive, right? So let's listen to that, right?
There's no doubt. And like I said when I started with you, that the one thing that, professionally that I've gotten out of this is that, when you have a Maryland game on Tuesday and a football game on Saturday and then a basketball game on Sunday that you do in November or whatever, the preparation isn't that great. You've already, you know what you're going to talk about. But here, you got to delve for the stories. You got to delve for the facts. You got to really work at it. And, if one person's listening to my show, I owe it to them. And I owe it to my sponsors to be as well-versed and well-rounded as I can be. And you can ask Peter DeLutis if I've fulfilled that task.
Well, I know
Okay?
you guys have a wake up, and I'm not having coffee 8:00 on Monday morning. Usually, Luke and I begin our week together for all the programming we do here. And I know both of us have joined you over the course of time. Hey, I hope we get back to Monday morning where you had a 3-game Orioles sweep, one way or the other.
Yeah,
with,
no,
with the
it would be
Yankees.
great, to have that story to talk about. But for now, it's a lot of golf on Monday morning, the first segment, and then I go into the stories. And now we're getting to the meat of it. If these games do happen, okay, that there will be stories, and the stories don't stop. There are a lot of surrounding stories, great stories. You remember Chris Hinton? I don't know if you've read about that, but Chris Hinton, the guy who was traded for Elway, who we got for Elway, and you know what? Back then, Nestor, that wasn't a bad trade. We got the best offensive tackle in football, and Elway didn't want to come here anyway. And he had a great career in Baltimore, and now his 2 kids are going to college, to Stanford and Michigan, and his wife and him are concerned that the NCAA is so incompetent that they don't have a protocol for every school. We test at Maryland, they don't test at Arkansas. How can that be? How can that be? And it is the NCAA is failing. All right, that there should be a standard. Like baseball has a 121-page book about it. 121 pages of protocol. I haven't read it, and I'm sure you haven't, but I'm sure it covers everything. And that's what it should be.
To some degree, we're trying to get the United States to have a 121-page manual on how to handle
we don't have
it, right?
that either.
We don't have that
we
either.
Don't have that.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see that in North Carolina. Hey, we'll see you on Monday, each and every Monday, bright and early. Tell the science guys I said hello, and maybe some point we'll get a Springsteen tour out of this. We just got to stay safe, right? Got to keep Springsteen alive through this, too.
Take care, buddy.
You got it. Bruce Posner, Terp Talk, the way to find you Monday mornings here at AM 1570, WNST, and then again in the afternoons. And, of course, you can find him anytime at Terp Talk on Twitter as well as at terptalk.com, even though he's talking about more than the Terps. Nasty at WNST.net. Calm, local, and always Baltimore positive.